Come on, Sava. Bien. Sava bien. Hey, wait, was that French? Yes, of course. I presumed you learned French. Yes, I did. Haven't spoken for long, so it has gone from my memory. That was a quick informal conversation between two friends inquiring about each other's well being. And now, any guess about the topic? A stone has to be chiseled and molded to become a statue, is it not? Have you ever noticed to get a tree or bush to a shape, some branches are cut, or to be precise, few branches are cut selectively, and thereby new, more productive wood or branches evolve. And now, on a lighter note, the more a couple romance, better is their communication. Strong is their bondage. This helps their progress mentally and emotionally. Is that so? Leave it to you to ponder. Synonymous to this, there are always romantic signals, electrical and chemical signals, which aid the millions of neurons in the brain to communicate with one another. Their meeting point is called the synapses. Synapse formation occurs between neurons during early brain development, roughly 2 to 3 years. This is called synaptogenesis or synaptic growth. That is, they increase the efficiency of the brain's neural transmissions. So repeatedly activating the synapses makes them stronger. So there we go. It's all about pruning, synaptic pruning. We can call it a means of regeneration. Why and how? To begin with, babies are bumbling, drooling, puzzled creatures, are they not? 1 million new neural connections are formed in the brain prenatally and in the first few years of life than at any other time. After early childhood, the connections that are not used as frequently will be pruned. In simpler terms, we lose the unused synaptic connections. Who do you think is the hero of this entire event? The microglia, which transforms our brain to become more and more efficient. The simpler associations formed at childhood are believed to be replaced by complex structures, shaping or building up the crucial areas of the brain. So as mentioned earlier, synapses that are more active, that communicate frequently are strengthened and those that are not are weakened and eliminated. Otherwise, synaptic pruning. So that is why the proverb, practice makes a man perfect. The more we practice and execute, it remains strong in our memory. So we become what we want to. The formation of new neural networks in the brain aids in learning and memory, which sculpts rather refines the brain. So obviously, this regulates the cognitive development of the child. Pruning is an important part of language gaining motor control and sensory precision. Exercise and environment fosters neurogenesis, synaptogenesis, and learning in adults. Disruption or defects in synaptic pruning could lead to severe circuitry alterations, typical of neurodevelopmental disorders. To keep in mind, this is separate from the regressive events seen during older ages. Let's create an encouraging environment for babies. Adding more details to our content, it is said, don't leave the baby in the dark for first 2 years. Keep them informed. Provide them several knowledge options. A newborn baby trained to eat and sleep, however, gets prepared for the tasks to come as he or she grows. We know healthy genes are important for proper growth in the first year and sooner followed by a good environment. Let's divide this content into 3 stages. Number 1, critical period. Number 2, growth. And number 3, pruning. Number 1, critical period. The more complicated the cognitive function, the longer will be its development, followed by the critical period. The critical period takes extensive time for goal-oriented behavior and to avoid distractions. This lasts still beyond the first 20 years. These functions are essential for rational thinking and sensible conclusions. Number 2, growth. What happens in a child's brain during critical periods? Initially, neurons are few dendrites in the cerebral cortex that executes particular functions. When the critical period starts, the dendritic trees grow and synapses increases. Later, there is a drastic reduction in these interneural connections, which indicates pruning period. After the first year, the critical period for basic functions such as depth vision, colors, and movement are established. During growth of synapses, the child learns varieties of new skills such as facial recognition. Learning and growth of the cortex go hand in hand. The frontal cortex, which is of importance for rational thinking, takes a lot longer. Number 3, pruning. After a while, the connections that are of little or no use are cleared away. The most important effect of this clearing is that the pruned cortex is more structured. The growth allows for fast, extensive, and directed learning, while the subsequent pruning makes way for efficient course correction of learnt experiences. Learning at a later age. Does this mean learning a language after 5 years of age is possible? Of course, but it needs more efforts. Even a person with cerebral hemorrhage can speak, but with extra effort than childhood learning based on the same growth and pruning of synapses, as the critical period can be reopened at a later age too. Now, synaptic pruning and better memory. The pruning process determines whether a related memory is worth retaining at all and how tightly connected it should be to the needed memory. So, learning before pruning allows adaptation to long term changes, and pruning provides adaptive specialization. It also means that you aren't losing something essential, but rather honing your brain to be fit for purpose. Synaptic pruning is unrelated to our ability to retain skills and memories from our childhood. The brain isn't throwing out core memories or knowledge. It's simply getting rid of excess materials that were created just in case. We learn a lot from our families, but much early learning also comes from peers and society at large. How to balance is the trick. Neuron formation, migration, and synaptogenesis are mostly prenatal in humans. To begin with, intelligence is just a tiny spark in the journey. One can improve mental skills like logical reasoning, memory, reading, and writing with regular practice and can acquire new knowledge throughout life. Nothing is late. Thank you.